Hello everybody, my name is Ryan or MandRproductions, and welcome to my full comparison of all three LEGO Star Wars Tantive IV sets. From left to right, we have the 2009 model, set 10198. In the middle, we have the 10019 model from 2001. And farthest there on the right, we have the brand new 2019 model, set 75244. My comparisons cover 5 different categories: minifigures, playability, design, value, and M&R opinions. So we'll have a winner at the end with the total values added up, and we'll see which Tantive IV is the best according to my rating system. You can also vote on the card on screen now, or you can wait and save your vote until you've seen the sets compared. Leave a like on the video if you enjoy, and let's go ahead and get into the first category, which is minifigures. While 2009 had a good array of minifigures, including Princess Leia, Captain Antilles, a Rebel Trooper, C-3PO, and R2-D2, the new edition of the Tantive IV includes all those figures, all updated and upgraded and much better than their original versions, unless you just particularly like classic LEGO minifigures, plus Bail Organa for the first time. So I think it's a no-brainer to give the nod to the newer Tantive IV as having the best minifigures, and the 2009 version as having the second best minifigures out of all the Tantive IV sets. I'll just give you guys a good look at all those figures there. A lot of nice detailed figures on the newer set. The 2009 set just screams for the era, like no leg printing, no special extra detailed prints at all, and it really shows. So they've done some major changes in the last 10 years for all those minifigures. 1 point to the 2001 version, 2 points to the 2009 version, and 3 points to the 2019 version. If you guys are new here and you haven't figured it out yet, at the end we will tally up all these points, and the one with the most points wins. We are on to the playability category, and this is a pretty easy category for me because, well, we can knock off one of the sets again because the UCS one has no playability. The only playability you get out of this behemoth is maybe swooshing it around, but at that, its swooshability is like a 2 out of 10. So the UCS one is not going to get any points for playability. Well, they get 1 point because it's the worst, but it's the worst playability. So we're just going to be comparing 09 and 19 in the playability category. Getting started with the 2009 model's playability is going to be pretty straightforward. It's a swooshable ship. You can pick it up with one hand, but you do have to be cautious as there is no handle to pick it up with, but you can fly it around. As far as its cockpit goes, you can open it up very easily by lifting it up. And inside, you're going to find a couple of seats with a couple of control panels for you to place minifigures down upon. It's a nice little design. It's stuck there. It's not going to break apart when you're using it. The only problem is maybe you might push a little too hard and the ship will sway a little bit. But other than that, no complaints about the front end of the ship. The turrets on the top and the bottom of the Tantive at the front here will also rotate. See, the one on the bottom will rotate and move up and down as you please. So good range of motion on those. As we get to the center area of the Tantive here, which I'm mispronouncing apparently because it's supposed to be pronounced with 3 syllables, but I've never heard it pronounced that way. You have this whole middle section, which does have turrets on top, which you can move. But the more fun part is going to be found inside, where you have this whole interior where you can actually bring in Princess Leia. You can have her sit at her seat, which is a pretty rough looking seat there. It's literally just like the ground, so not a great seat design there, and you have some other control panels and stuff for minifigures or perhaps R2-D2 to work around with, and you can all have a bunch of minifigures in there and play around with it however you want. But kind of a rough looking interior, but still effective enough. Little crate there for a little storage. You know, there's some holes in the ground, but other than that, it's nice. So that's the interior of the middle section of the 09 Tantive, and moving back a little bit further, you'll have this little section here, which is going to give you a little cart to actually pull out and drive around, which is pretty nice. And put that back in, place this back on. It looks like nothing's even there. Pretty nice. And then on the sides here, you have these little things, which are going to be escape pods, but they're not really supposed to be escape pods, but LEGO has made them be useful for that, which is nice. So a nice little hidden feature there on the side of the Tantive as everything wants to fall apart in my hands. Again, swooshable, nothing else really as a feature on the set. No spring-loaded shooters, no stud shooters or anything, no flick-fire missiles. So that is the Tantive IV from 2009 and all of its play features. The 2008 2019 model retains many of the same features, but the biggest change in my opinion is going to be the brand new handle, which allows you to pick the model up and fly it around as you please without as much risk of dropping it. It's a very secure handle that really does hold the ship up well. It does have a little bit of a forward lean to it depending on the way you hold it, so just got to kind of get that center of gravity right on that. The cockpit retains the same feature where you can kind of open it up and you're able to access the interior where you can actually place minifigures down. You can open and close that pretty easily, just not as easily as the 2009 version because you actually have to pull the pieces off. So kind of annoying from that aspect, but other than that, a pretty nice feature. The middle section does feature some stud shooters on top here. You have a rotatable turret on top, which I said you couldn't rotate in my review, but actually you can rotate it pretty nicely. It does get stopped there by the midsection. You move up and down, and the bottom turret here also rotates a lot smoother and moves up and down as well. Right underneath the cockpit on the front here, you actually have spring-loaded missiles, which are not loaded right now, but if they were, you'd push in on this and they would shoot out. So if you've seen spring-loaded missiles, you know how those work. The midsection of the Tantive once again presents a little play feature where you can pull it off. These also spin around like the last model, but you actually have a much nicer looking, more well-rounded interior. Not as many control panels and everything, but I think this is just such a cleaner look to play around with. So this is a minifigure from the 09 set, but you can play around with figures in here. You have actual seats, unlike the other one, which literally just had you sit on the ground. So a major improvement or a minor improvement, depending on how you look at your seats for your minifigures. But I think that's a nice improvement, whether you think it's major or minor. This midsection here is going to pull right off and reveal a couple of extra spring-loaded missiles for your spring-loaded missile shooters at the front of the ship, which I showed just a moment ago, and that goes right back on. So kind of a trade-off with the cart that they had on the other model, and then of course they're bringing back the escape pod here, where you can actually place in R2-D2 and C-3PO. However, there are no control panels inside of the newer version's escape pod, so kind of a give and take there. And these are also slightly smaller, I think, than the ones on the other sets. It's honestly kind of sort of a toss-up as to which set has the better playability. The real defining factor for me, though, is gonna be the handle on the new version. That really allows you to open up the possibilities for playing around with this set inside of like an environment where you're actually swooshing it around and playing with other particular spaceships in the Star Wars universe or whatever you may be flying it around against. I think that handle is a real game changer. Everything else is kind of neck and neck as far as the two Tantive IVs go. Maybe having to pull this off is a little bit more annoying than just the slide up on the other one, and also the addition of stud shooters and spring-loaded shooters there at the front kind of adds some to the 2019 model that the 2009 model just didn't have as far as playability goes. So I think I'm going to give the nod to the 2019 model as the best playability, second best playability, and the worst playability because you just can't play with it. There are your scores after two categories. On to the design category. The design obviously is going to be very much up to your personal opinion, but obviously this is my comparison video, so I get to choose which one has the best design, and we're going to go through everything here. So the 2001 version has a brick-built cockpit area. Obviously it doesn't open up or anything, it has no playability. Kind of uses rubber bands to hold all that together, which is pretty interesting. Has a sticker design on the side, which actually looks pretty good. Moving into the neck, you just have some small details, brick-built everything. More stickers there on the side of the midsection. Very interesting turrets on top as well, just kind of all one piece. As you move back, you have more nice all brick built details into what Lego now makes the escape pods, but aren't really supposed to be escape pods apparently, section of the set. And then the engines are just massive behemoth things in the back there with stickers on them, as well as these printed pieces here, which usually end up on the top of TIE fighters. So that's a pretty cool looking design with just a huge footprint. I mean, that Tantive IV is just massive. The 2009 model brought in some printed pieces, which kind of raises the question why the new one didn't use printed pieces. But regardless, nice printed design on the front here, all brick-built details into the midsection. Everything brick-built looks nice, everything works nicely. The one complaint I would have about this design is it's wobbly. So, like, this one won't wobble, this one won't wobble either. So this one just not as stable as the other two Tantive IVs. Everything else is pretty nice about it. Even the engines look pretty dang clean. So I'm pretty happy with the way that one actually turned out, but it looks a little bit short now compared to the other models. It looks like it's literally just missing a section, and that's why it's so short. It's weird. The 2009 model, like I mentioned, uses stickers for the design. Much larger cone piece, though, gives the cockpit a much larger and nicer look, in my opinion. The neck also has a much nicer design. Uses a small sticker detail in there. Nice detailing along the side of the midsection. You can see that compared to the 09 model there and the 2001 model. The top of the midsection here has nice detail, as well as the turrets there. All brick built details all the way through to the back, where you have the engine area. You even put a sticker on the engines this time around, which have a pretty sleek design as well. The only complaint I have about the 2019 model is there's some pretty big gaps there on the engines. Like, you can just kind of see through to the bottom. It's weird. So not a huge fan of that, but other than that, I really like the design of the 2019 model. That being said, my favorite design, or the best design with displayability kind of included in this category, is going to go to the 2001 UCS model. This thing is absolutely massive. It demands your attention, and I love it for that reason. Just a really cool Tantive 4. So the second best design is going to go to the 2019 model, which besides the stickers is a really nice design. So I just wish they would have been able to print more of it. But other than that, still really good. And the worst design, not bad by any means, but it's just not as good as the others in my opinion, is the 2009 model. Another thing about the 2009 model that I think makes it not as good is that the white piece on here, the white just doesn't match. It looks weird when it's printed white on clear. It just doesn't work. So kind of an eyesore from that perspective. But other than that, I mean, these are all three really good models and tough competition all around, but that's going to be getting 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point. And so for value, obviously minifigures mean a lot to a lot of people, and those are definitely going to play a role here. But first I need to explain that the 2001 model was originally released for $200 in the US, but with inflation calculated in, that's about $287 in 2019 money. Pretty pricey, but still just a behemoth UCS set. The 2009 model was released for $150, which equates to about $178 in today's money. And finally, the 2019 model costs $200 in 2019 money, obviously. So I think it's a tough one. The UCS model is huge, right? For almost $300, I can see the difference in value. It's kind of split there. So we'll go worst to first here. The 2009 model is going to have the worst value to me. For $178, you just get some pretty bland minifigures. Obviously, for an extra $20 on the newer version, you get some shiny new figures and a much nicer model, in my opinion. Just a much cleaner, more well-rounded model with the handle and everything. So I think the 2009 model warrants itself to have the worst value. That being said, it's a tough choice between whether $287 for this massive UCS model or $200 for this still very nice and displayable model with some awesome minifigures is better. And for that reason, I'm going to call it a draw on the value category between the 2001 model and the 2019 model. So there are your scores through 4 rounds. You can add those up if you want, but now we're on to M&R opinion. Which one do I like the best? Now, before this one came out, I might have been tempted to say I like the 2009 model over the 2001 model, but I think seeing LEGO having redone this model just firmly puts the 2009 model in last place for my personal taste. Like, I just can't look at it the same way anymore. So, 2009 model for the M&R opinion category is going to get a measly 1 point. As much as I used to like it, now that there's something new and shiny and better in my opinion, it's tough to look at it the same. Now between the UCS model and the new playset kind of displayable model, it's a really tough choice for me. I'm almost tempted to call it a draw again, but I think I'm going to make my decision to the new set as the better set. And maybe there's some recency bias there. Just entirely possible, but of course this whole video is supposed to really just be my opinion, and you guys can kind of draw your own conclusion from the video. That's why I'm going to put a poll up on the screen right now so you can vote on which set you think is the best. With that being said, I think the 2019 model oh so slightly edges out the 2001 model. Like, if the 2001 model had minifigures, I'd probably have to pick it, but I think the 2019 model brings a lot to the table as far as playability, displayability. The minifigures are great. Unfortunately, no plaque like the original one, but that can be looked over. You can make your own, but yeah, that is my opinion. Let's tally up the scores and find out the winners. And with all the scores tallied, the winner of this comparison video is going to be the 2019 model. I think they're all excellent choices. If you own any one of these, I think you're going to be happy, or if you go out and buy any one of these. Obviously, each one's going to cost a different price compared to where you buy it, new or used. So hopefully this video helped you decide which Tantive 4 you wanted to buy, or maybe you just wanted to see them all next to each other. That's entirely possible too. But let me know what you guys thought of this video and everything I said down in the comments section below. Let me know what you think of all the Tantive 4s, what LEGO could have possibly done better with the newest Tantive 4, and maybe one day LEGO will bring back the UCS Tantive 4 and make it huge again. Wouldn't that just be awesome to see again? One of these days, huh? They'll make a huge Tantive 4 again. Maybe in like 5 years, 10 years or something. But that's all for this comparison video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like on the video. If you want to see more LEGO Star Wars comparisons, check out my playlist of LEGO Star Wars comparisons. I have a ton of them. They're really fun. I hope to do more in the future. Leave me a suggestion below if you want to see certain sets compared. Maybe I'll take your suggestion and make a video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.